What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for the day. Today is Friday, so going to get a lot of entries to you guys out. I already see a ton of value on the board, so going to try to hit like maybe 10 to 12 plays today, 10 to 12 plays to be sent out today because, again, Friday, Saturday, our biggest days normally where there's just the most on the board. We have some football tonight too, so going to be sending out some plays for that. Yesterday, we do end up going down about 2 to 3 units. So this week, overall, we've gone down about 7 or 8 units this week. I actually have everything to track this as always. You guys know this. I track absolutely everything. You guys can always tune in this channel and see how these graphs are progressing. This is probably the better graph to show just because it's more zoomed in, but this is over the past 30 days, right? So this is since this is since July 1st. So July 1st till now, we are up about 60 units. You see here 59.6 units. So if you're a $10 better, you'd be up about $500 to $600 in this past 30 days. Amazing month, honestly. I always say we normally go up between 40 to 60 units in a month. So right here is around that higher range of a month. So amazing July. We had an amazing June. We went up 7 out of the past 7 weeks. All right. So this is now our 8th week. So we went up every single week in July. We've gone up every single week so far we've gone up every single week in June and every single week so far in July, right? Who knows what's going to happen this week? As you guys can see, this was really like a week ago today. So actually a week ago on Wednesday, right? This is when we were at technically all-time highs on the VIP. We just came off of a 25 unit day on Wednesday. I was very vocal about that. Huge day for us. And then again, this week, we've trickled down just a little bit, guys. Again, it's not really that big of a deal at the end of the day. We've gone down like 7 units, gone down like 1 unit every single day this week. We could hit 9x. This is what I always talk about. If we've gone down 7 units, we could hit 9x today. We could hit 10x today or this weekend or whatever it is. And that would pay for all of those losses that we had this week and cover all of our losses this week. Even if we do end up going down 10 units this weekend and have a pretty bad weekend, so be it, right? You guys see the graph here, and it's very, very positive on the positive end. And this is a common concept on the VIP where we kind of trickle down a little bit and then we go to all-time highs. We trickle down a little bit, go to all-time highs. Trickle down a little bit, all-time highs. As you see, this pattern repeats over and over and over again. I have a graph showing all of last year pretty much, and you guys will see 600 units last year. Again, you have some down days, you have some up days, and again, it's a rocky graph. It goes up and down sometimes, but over a long period of time, we always win. There's really no doubt in my mind that we do so. And then we also have the first day of football coming up today, which is very exciting. And there's actually some college football lines on the board, so I might actually be sprinkling some in pretty soon here now because I know like Arch Manning's on the board. I saw some Iowa State players on the board, so we'll kind of see what's up with that. But again, I really want to get across, as I talked about last Wednesday, we had a 25 unit day. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse at this point, but I said this on Thursday when we celebrated that day on Wednesday, that a 25 unit day is massive for us because we could literally have 2 weeks in a row going down 2 units every single day, and that would be minus 24 units that we would be going down. Or like minus 27, minus 28 units that we've been going down, and we would still be up because of that Wednesday, right? So it's really important on these big days to kind of remind ourselves for that. That's why I always say to track your bets, because actually we've been having a really, really solid month. We have a 20% ROI this month, where normally we go about a 13 to 14% ROI. So this month's been really great. Past 7 days, not so much, but again, if you can't go down 7 to 8 units, 10 units, 12 units sometimes over a given week, betting's probably not for you. You're probably in the wrong business. And again, you got to treat this not emotionally at all. You got to take your emotions out. You got to realize we have a winning strategy, which is correlation and finding closing line value. And you got to trust the process, right? I've had so many weeks like this where people will be like, oh man, down week, we went down like 7 units. And then this next weekend, right? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we go up like 20 units or something, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but, and then everyone's like, oh man, right as I joined the VIP, we went down. And then right as I left, we went up. And it's like, it's frustrating, but it's like, man, you got to be here whenever the losses happen a little bit, because that is when the wins are going to happen. They're going to pay everything off. The wins happen very, very fast, right? We could literally have 2 9Xs back-to-back happen today or tomorrow. And again, we would go up 15 units and we'd be right back at all-time highs celebrating. So again, you got to brave the storm sometimes. So here we are, guys. I'm not going to go over it too much. I mean, we missed yesterday's YouTube entry. The YouTube entry is probably the thing that I'm most disappointed in because I did really want to watch tonight's game and have this set up for us. YouTube entries have not been great this week, guys. I'm sorry about that. Again, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles sometimes. In June, we had a couple of weeks span where we had like 18 videos, where I think we hit like 13 out of 18 videos in a row of the YouTube entry. So sometimes the YouTube entries are hot, sometimes they're not. This play really should have hit. I'll say that. This play really should have hit. This guy ends up DMPing. This guy gets 26 assists. This guy ends up DMPing, but his replacement only gets 5 assists, right? And I actually have that pulled up here. You'll see the first game in this game here. We have Zeka, who we took over 12 assists, I believe. I think it was 12. 12 assists. He gets 16 assists in one game. You'll see they beat this team 28-2. Okay, 28-2, which is insane. This is why we take League of Legends correlation. We take one team under, one team over, because this team we took the under on, and it was Jaiwoo, and who ends up filling in for Jaiwoo is Trigger. You'll see he only gets 1 assist. He goes 0 kills, 7 deaths, 1 assist. He had a horrible game. And then you'll see over here, Trigger also played here and he only gets 4 assists, right? So I don't know why they would sub out Jaiwoo because Trigger looked like he played really bad. But you'll see Zeka ends up getting 10 assists here and gets that 26 kill mark or 26 assist mark. Jaiwoo, if he would have played, would have got between probably 5 or 6 assists himself. This one hits up here. This one was very close to hitting too. We ended up taking the Zeka Viper combo under. They obviously crushed it, get 29 kills because they dominated that team. And then you'll see some opposite correlation here, as I always talk about. So let's go ahead and get into the play of the day here, guys. I really like this pick, all right? I know I've been saying that a lot. The League of Legends plays, it's been funny this week because sometimes the WNBA play will hit. We've had a lot of 1-and-1s this week, right? We've had the WNBA play and then the WNBA play hit and the League of Legends play not hit. And then we've had the League of Legends play hit and the WNBA play not hit. Taco Tuesday the other day, we hit the Taco Tuesday, but the guy ends up DMPing, right? So a little bit of, frustration. It's been a little bit frustrating because it feels like we've been there. It feels like we've been making some good calls. It just feels like, we've been getting a little bit unlucky with these DMPs and these things over here. What's good about today is we don't really have to worry about the other sport. We have MLB discount, so we're going to take that. And then we're going to take this Tan guy right here to go under 17 assists. Now, I like him all the way down to 15.5 assists, guys. So at 17, that is absolutely amazing right there. What we want to always do is we want to find closing line value, all right? So what that means is by game time, we want this guy to bump down. I think this guy's probably going to bump down to 15.5 or 15 by game time. That's why I'm telling you guys to take him at 17, take him at 16.5, take him even at 16, and then I think by game time he's going to bump all the way down to 15, right? I think this guy's line is way too high. I will say if he's bumped down to like 15 or something crazy, like 14 or something, then Crisp is also a really good line. I think Crisp will probably also bump all the way down to maybe 21 or 20 himself, okay? So this is a really solid play. I'm not going to go over Rocker. I mean, this is kind of an obvious pick to hit right here. We're going to take him over. This is a discount of the day. But down here in League of Legends, guys, this is a very likely 1-1 scenario, okay? Where WBG versus IG, they're very even teams. You'll actually see I have the odds pulled up here on BOVADA. So, I always talk about BOVADA. It's important to have BOVADA because you can find odds for these different sports books here. Invictus is actually slightly favored, okay? So this IG team is slightly favored, and then they're facing WBG. So how I'm going to talk about this today is, let me pull out the drawing tool. So I think what's going to happen is I think either what ends up happening is IG is going to either, let me actually draw it over here. I think IG is either going to 2-0 this team. I think the game is either going to go 1-1 where IG wins the first game and IG loses the second game, or the game's going to go 1-1 where WBG wins the first game and IG wins the second game, right? So we have like a IG wins the first game and loses the second game, or IG is going to win the second game and lose the first game. Or the last thing that could obviously happen is that we have an 0-2 where WBG, the team that this guy's actually on, ends up actually winning both games here. And you'll actually see the odds for these different things here, right? This one is right here where this has a plus 205 to happen. And the least likely scenario, one of the least likely scenarios, is that WBG actually pulls out the upset or the clean sweep and ends up winning both games in a row, okay? So how I'm going to talk about this is I think Tian has a really solid chance of hitting in this scenario, in this scenario, in this scenario, but not in this scenario, okay? So 3 out of 4 of the scenarios, I think he has a really solid chance of hitting, right? So this is a 75% chance of hitting right here, in my opinion, and that's not even factoring in the sportsbooks odds, right? We have three different scenarios here where I think he's going to hit. The only scenario that I'd be a little bit worried in is if WBG does end up pulling out the 0-2, which again could happen, right? Things happen in sports betting. Crazy things happen, like plus 180 or plus 280 things happening and stuff like that. But again, if you look at sportsbooks odds, these sportsbooks are not playing around. They know what they're doing, guys. Bovada knows what they're doing. That's why they make a lot of money off of sports bettors. Additionally, guys, is if you look at his averages, he averages 8.7 assists in wins, so that would put him still at 17.4, right? So if he wins both games in a row, he still is averaging right around 17. Right, I just said that it's likely that he does not win both games in a row. He's likely going to at least lose one game, if not both games. In losses, he averages 5.7 in losses, 5.7 assists in losses. So again, I think the most likely scenario is that a 1-1 happens, where WBG takes a game, IG takes a game. If you add up this plus this, it's not that crazy. You're just adding up these two numbers here. That puts him right about 14.5. And again, this is like 3 assists lower than what his line is right now. It's a very similar story with Crisp. That's why I like Crisp. I just think Crisp, sometimes if you look at his games, he sometimes has a random game where he gets like 21 assists in a game or 22 assists in a game, which is a little bit scary. Tian kind of goes in this range of like 8 to 10 assists in a game if he's really, really having a great game. So I think the ceiling for Tian is a little bit lower than what Crisp can do, right? Sometimes Crisp has a game where he just absolutely dominates and gets like 20 to 25 assists in one game, which is what we want to avoid. If you guys like what I talk about today, if you guys like the transparency, if you guys like the correlation that I talk about a lot today, if you like the closing line value, I really, really recommend you guys get into the VIP. Again, it is the first day of the NFL preseason. We're going to be betting on the preseason a ton. We're going to be betting on the NFL and college football a ton this year as well. We've gone up 350 units both seasons in a row in college football and NFL. You'll get all of my plays, not just my football plays. You'll get my WNBA plays, my League of Legends, my esports plays, my Counter-Strike plays, and of course my football plays. By signing up for Better today, you'll get 2 months free of the VIP. I will Venmo you $25 for signing up for Bovada today. All you have to do is be in one of these states, and then obviously text me the word Bovada. Go through the instructions that I send you. It's as simple as that. Another app that I am very, very excited to announce that I'm going to be working with, again, is REBET. They're reopening their promo code. So I've actually gotten some texts over the past couple months of like, hey, when are you reopening that REBET code? Because I think I worked with them back last season somewhere. I think last season in like October and November. A lot of you guys ended up not getting signed up for it. They paused their code up until football season. They wanted to get some more marketing dollars around REBET. And REBET is actually legal in, like, again, 46 out of 50 states. So you have a very, very high chance that REBET is legal in your states, and probably everyone watching this video, because I know Nevada and Montana at least do not even offer PrizePicks. So I don't know why you'd be watching this video if you live in one of those states, because you can't even bet on PrizePicks. So pretty much everyone watching this video will have REBET legalized. Arizona legalized, Texas, Florida, California is REBET legal. All you have to do is put $10 into REBET, text me the word REBET, and I'll give you those instructions to my number right here on the screen. Super easy to do so, and you'll actually get I believe it's 100% deposit match up to $100. So you can start off on REBET with $200, guys. And thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in tomorrow's video.